Talking with Topher is sponsored by New Hampshire Vape Gallery, slowdownclothing.bigcartel.com, and naturalbossnh.com. More on that later. Let's get into episode 81. What is happening, TwT fans? It is so good to be back on this. Well, it's Monday, October 18th. That's right. And hey, I'm finally recording on time. It's 2:30 in the afternoon. But for you, it's Thursday, October 21st at whatever time you chose to listen or watch this. So happy Thursday to you. And of course, I'm not guessing the weather. I'm looking at the weather and then I'm letting you know what they're saying it's going to be on Thursday, and I'm just seeing if they were right. And guess what? Last Thursday they were right. It was 77 here. It was beautiful and it was sunny. So, this Thursday, October 21st, for you, they're saying partly cloudy and 71. Let's see if it changes. But I want to start off by saying, as always, thank you, everybody. Thank you. All your subscriptions, all your comments, everything is greatly appreciated. And it doesn't go without me saying thank you to all of you for supporting the podcast and supporting me. It means so much, and it does keep me coming back here week after week. So thank you. If you are new to the podcast, you need to be subscribing. That's right. If you're watching, listening, subscribe. What are you doing? Right? I need to get to so many subscribers in order to get monetized. And if you are just listening and you're not subscribing, well, shame on you. Hit that subscribe button. It's the only thing I'm asking everybody to do. So do that for me. And if you want to know when all the new podcasts are uploaded, hit that alarm. Right? Set those alarms. If you want to get more involved with the podcast, comment, share, rate, review. All of those things help to, push this podcast in the algorithm to more people. That's what helps it grow. So I would love for everybody out there to do all of those things. But the most important thing you can do, click that subscribe button. All right? If you do want to get more involved with the podcast, besides commenting and all that other stuff I just talked about, I have an email, talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. That's right, talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. You can get more involved with the podcast. You can ask questions. You could say I was wrong about something. And then let's just say you have a story. Or maybe you know somebody who has a story that just needs to be heard. Well, send it over to the podcast. But if you do, put slow down in that subject line. That's right. I still have merchandise to give you for free for sharing your story. Yeah. So just do those things. Send it over to the email. And if I read your story and pick you out, then you will get some free slow down merch. And again, you just put slow down in the subject line and send it over to talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. And then, of course, I'm on social media. That's right. Yes, social media. Everybody's on it today, right? I mean, if you have a phone, you're on social media. So you can follow me. All my links are below or in the description below the video. And you can go there and follow. Extra content throughout the week. And I greatly appreciate all the follows. That's Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, and Facebook. Again, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, and Facebook. Go there, follow, extra content throughout the week. And now with all of that out of the way, it is time to get into today's episode. Yes. So for me, it hasn't really been a crazy week. I pretty much have gotten back into my groove. So Tuesday, it was a great day at work. I got a lot of stuff done. I had a little bit of cleaning up to do from not being there for 4 days, but Nothing out of the ordinary. It's just what I always deal with, and that's fine. That's called work, and that's what you do when you're at work. You do the work, right? So I had to do all those things, get everything to the way I like it, and then, order and get out of there at 8. It was fantastic. It was a productive day back from 4 days off. And then Wednesday came, editing day. So I did not go to jiu-jitsu. Now, earlier I had mentioned nothing's going to stop me from going to jiu-jitsu. I guess it's not 100% true. Not being able to walk kind of stopped me from going to jiu-jitsu. So after I recorded the podcast on Monday, by Monday night, by the time my wife got home, I could barely walk on my knee. I was completely taken away by this. Tuesday, hobbling around all over the store. And then Wednesday, there was a little bit less hobbling, but still very tender, weight on it, hard to support my weight. And so I chose to stay out of jiu-jitsu because I did not have any knee brace or anything to kind of give me support, I guess. I'm going to get one after today, but I need to get a stabilizing, I don't know if it's a knee wrap, because it's not a knee brace. A knee brace is an actual mechanical thing that you buy from the doctors, and that shit keeps your knee exactly where it needs to be. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about more something that you kind of slip over your leg, and then it has Velcro that like goes around the back and then comes up the top, and then the other side goes the other way, and it helps stabilize it. And I feel like if I have something like that, when someone puts weight on my knee, it won't be directly onto it. I'll have a little bit of padding in between, so that might help. But yeah, there was no way I was going to class when I could barely walk. So I felt like, I was a little disappointed in myself. But it allowed me to do some extra stuff around the house. And I did some digging on my knee pain. I ended up calling the doctor. It's been a whole thing. This getting old thing is, getting old. All right. No matter what I do, shit's falling apart. And from everything that I read over the weekend, that's just the way it is for a male in his 40s. Now, can you do things to strengthen stuff? And yes, all that stuff can be done. But when tendons are damaged, it's really hard to come back from it. When joints get twisted, you got to let them heal, but I don't want to let it heal. I just want to get back into doing what I was doing. So I tend to, I guess, hurt myself a little bit more. But yeah, so I didn't go to class on Wednesday. I did my editing. Then there was some other stuff I had to get done. And then, Wednesday night comes around and I'm back upstairs into the podcast room. And I am filling out all the information, getting ready to upload the video to YouTube. And I went through everything and I was not paying attention because things were taking a little bit longer than I anticipated. And then I didn't realize the clock had struck midnight. So when I finalized everything, I, for some reason in my mind, saw that it was going up on the 15th, but I don't know how I didn't catch it. So if you follow me on social media, you know that the podcast went up and then it wasn't going to be available till the 15th. So I had some quick decisions to make Thursday morning. My wife's birthday. Luckily, she went to breakfast with her friend, or friends, and I got the first 3 hours of the day to myself. So after freaking out about the podcast and the uploading, I made an executive decision to delete the video. And what I was doing while I was deleting the video, as I was re-uploading it again. It took 2 hours and 52 minutes to get the SD version available by noon. And for that, I apologize. I'm going to pay much closer attention tomorrow, this Wednesday, and from here on out. I hope to never have a hiccup like that again. I've had many hiccups out of 81 episodes. So I don't think that they're over, but the only thing I can do is learn from my mistake and do better next time. And that's what I plan on doing. But I thank all of you again for, not getting upset about that, by still subscribing, still watching the video, even though I said it wasn't going to be ready till the 15th, and then I had it available at noon. Now, here's a funny story about the podcast being uploaded in that weird way that it did get uploaded. My friend I didn't know, but my friend contacted me and he goes, "Hey, man, why weren't you in the live chat?" I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, "Oh, I was in the live chat by myself, and you can check it out." He took a screenshot of it and sent it to me. He was like, "I was trying to get your attention, but you weren't available." I was like, "No, because once I uploaded it, I had to take a shower. It was my wife's birthday. We're going to do whatever she wanted to do." So I wasn't even home. And I guess for the first time that it was uploaded, when you upload it instantly, and you do, what's the thing called? The preview, or is it preview? Something like that. But I always do it. I do it so that it really pops up. I didn't realize it was also starting a live chat. So, I mean, it was kind of funny, but at the same time, I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I wish I was there." Because it would have been good. Because what if other people showed up, right? And now they're in the live chat and I'm not there. Well, that's kind of weird. So, again, another hiccup that I will hopefully never run into again. But I do plan on doing something live at some point in time. But I will tell you, that makes me more nervous than doing this. And the thing that's got me the most nervous is having a conversation with somebody, and somebody besides, my closest friends, like I'm planning on doing in the near future. But I'm wicked nervous about it. I am so nervous about. I know how my conversations go in real time, right? We're talking, we're having a good time, and then all of a sudden there's just silence because I got nothing, or the other person, has got nothing, and I don't know. I'm in my head. I know that it's probably going to go a lot better than I'm thinking of it, because usually when I'm thinking of things, I'm always in the worst case scenario. So I have a feeling it's going to do better than my worst case scenario, but still makes me super nervous. So does going live. All of these things I need to do. My boss at the vape shop, Joe there, he came up with some great ideas for doing some short videos. I want to get into those. Those also make me nervous. I am super anal retentive, so when I look at my channel, I like how everything is the same. I like how, and I know this is just me, because other people are putting up shorts and they're doing all these extra things, and it really just kind of falls into with all the rest of the videos. And I just have to accept the fact that these are things I need to do. They're things I need to get done. And I got to get out of my own head. And that's where I always am. I'm always in my own head, and I'm always thinking that I'm doing, well, I always feel like I'm not doing enough, first off. Second of all, I feel like whatever I am doing is not as good as I wanted it to be. It's never as good as you want it to be. Recording this, editing it, and then putting it up, at the end of it, I'm still like, ugh. I don't know. I hate listening to myself. I don't I'm not happy with anything that I do. And I think that's a good place to be. But at the same time, I don't want to be too negative because then I think it takes away. So I don't know. This is a very, very delicate ball to balance, I feel. Just like my jiu-jitsu is a very delicate ball to balance. I have to get out of my head. I have to do things certain ways, and I just got to go for the new stuff. I got to go for it. And I'm going to get into those things. I'm going to start doing some new stuff. But that was how Thursday morning was, getting everything done, uploaded for all of you out there. And again, I appreciated all the support and, just the likes and everything. I just thought it was funny that he was in a live chat by himself and I was nowhere to be found. My wife had a great, relaxing birthday. I took her to a float tank. So I don't know if you know what a float tank is. I'm sure if you've listened to Rogan, you know exactly what they are. They're amazing. That's what they are. They're meditation. You get into water filled with Epsom salt in this tank, and you close the lid. You can have it lit up. I prefer the lights off. And you just sit in there, listen to the music, and fade away. And just relax. Practice your breathing. Let your mind escape. It's just a great thing to do. So she went and did that. I went and talked to my parents. It was really nice to go and see them. Then I come back. I pick her up. We go out to dinner. Now, dinner, I was like, you pick it. And she's like, well, what about you? And I'm like, don't worry about me. All right, this is your birthday. Whatever you pick is where we go. And if they don't have shit that I can eat on the menu, well, then I got my Anatril. I take my 2 pills, and I cross my fingers and just hope whatever goes into my system, the Anatril balls up and fucking tosses out of my system. And it works pretty damn good, I do have to say. So we go to this place in Manchester, New Hampshire called Bonfire. Really cool. I mean, I love the fact that the place was wide open. So instead of having glass windows and a door in the center, they have garage doors. So the garage doors were open because Thursday was a beautiful day. They got the garage doors open. It's a nice warm evening. I think we got there around 5:30, and the garage, I just thought it was cool. The place was wide open. The air from the street was blowing in, fully ventilated. And no mask required because we're in New Hampshire anyways. And we sat down, and they have a table with bench swings. Yeah, literally swings. So she's like, I want to sit in the swings. And I'm like, okay. We sit in the swings. We didn't even make it 2 minutes. And she was like, oh, no, I can't do this. And I was like, oh, thank goodness, because I did not want to sit in these swings. This is the silliest. As soon as you sat in the swing, you were already way too far away from the table. I'm like, you can't eat like this. What are you going to pull yourself? And yeah, it's a lot of core work to just eat a meal. So we ended up moving to a different table with some smaller chairs, and that was great because they were high bar stools. All the tables were a little different. I mean, where the garage doors were, those were like bars, so you could be sitting on the sidewalk side, or you could be sitting in the restaurant side, and those were considered outside seats, so people were vaping and stuff like that, which never bothers me. And then they had a game room downstairs. I only went down there to use the bathroom because I didn't realize that directly across from me was more bathrooms. I thought it was like the kitchen and stuff. It wasn't. There was a there was bathrooms, and but I went downstairs and they called that the game rooms. They had foosball, all like not video games, like shit you actually had to do, cornhole and stuff like that. So I was like, oh wow, this is really neat. I go back upstairs and I'm looking around the restaurant. One of their booths is what's that thing you get on it when you're skiing? Shit. I mean, I think I just got part of the name, right? The ski lift. So they were ski lifts, one on either side, and then the booth in front of that was a bed of a Ford Ranger, and they like bolted benches into the bed of the truck. And the bed of the truck had its tail lights on, and it was lit up on the inside, and the tailgate was down because you stepped up on the tailgate, and then you got into the booth. So there was a table in there with benches bolted to the bed of the truck. Really neat. I thought the whole place, like even their bar was interesting because the whole thing wraps around, right? Just a big U. But then you got the bar part where you can put your food and everything else. And then there was like a little lift. And in that lift that went all the way around was plug outlets with USB plugs. And then underneath the bar by every seat was little hooks for women's purses or for people's purses. I don't even know if I can gender anything today, the way everything is so crazy. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, they just had stuff for the purses. They had plugs for everybody's phone. And it was just a really nice environment. I've never been there. I've lived in Manchester for since 2012 and never been there. Really, really nice. I definitely recommend it. Now, let's get to the food. I got a bonfire burger. I think that's all it was. It was just a bonfire burger. Now, I didn't read what was on it. I didn't do anything. She asked me if I wanted tater tots. I just made sure I got the proper cheese. And then, because I knew the bun was already going to fuck me up. And then I got tater tots. The tater tots were so good. And I stay away from a lot of deep fried stuff because the grease is just really bad for you. And that's fine. I put cheese all over these tater tots. They were so delicious, so crispy, and just amazing. I haven't had tater tots in a very long time. These were exceptionally good. And then the burger comes out, right, with the tater tots. The burger is this tall. It's got 2 patties, lettuce, tomato, jalapenos, onions, loaded with bacon. And my wife got tater tots and a burger called Little Piggy. I think I might be getting that right. I think it's called Little Piggy or Miss Piggy, something like that. This burger is the one I should have gotten if I was actually reading and paying attention, but I wasn't because it was literally just the 2 patties loaded with bacon. I'm not really bacon doesn't really agree with my system anyways. It doesn't matter what type of bacon it is. Doesn't matter. Bacon is just something that doesn't do well with me, pork in general. But I should have gone with that because that would have been a little bit safer than the jalapenos and the peppers and the onions and all of the extra shit that was on my burger. But I mean, I could barely open my mouth and bite down from top to bottom on this thing, and it was delicious. Now, don't take my word for all of this because I don't go out anywhere ever. I eat everything at home. I pre-make all my meals for work. I am very, very scheduled and regimented. I think that's the word I'm looking for, but everything is always the same week to week. And that's just because of my diet. It's because I don't like it when something upsets me. And so I don't like it when I have to take the Anatril pills just to eat. That already tells me I shouldn't be eating this. That's what those are for, right? So I don't go out of my zone very often. But when I do, I like to indulge. I like to really enjoy. And I just have to say, it was an amazing burger from first bite to the last bite. The Anatril did its job. Everything the next morning was A-okay. But my wife was like, oh, I want to go to Ben & Jerry's. So we went into Ben & Jerry's, and I'm like, go ahead, knock yourself out. There's literally nothing in here I can eat. She's like, oh, you're not going to? And I'm like, no. I'm not pushing my luck. I just stuffed my face with so much stuff that I have not eaten in, it was about a year. About a year since I've eaten like that. So I was like, I'm not going to push my luck anymore by putting a bunch of dairy into my system as well. So she got her cone. Oh, backtrack. Back in the restaurant, we're waiting to check out. All of a sudden, this guy, I couldn't tell if he ran out of the restaurant or if he ran down the street. But all of a sudden, you just see guys running. Woof. One of the guys was behind the bar. He ran out. Two guys running down the sidewalk. And then this, I'm like, what is going on? My wife's like, go out there and check it out. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, why not? I'll just pull out my phone, make it look like I'm recording too. I go out there, and they have got this guy on the ground, pinning him. He's flailing, screaming. And I'm like, oh, this has nothing to do with me. I'm not getting involved. Go back in. We're waiting for the check. Where's the check? What is taking so long to get the check? Didn't realize that the guy that ran out was also helping run the tables. So now it's down to this one person running all the tables. And she seems like a little bit of a chatty Cathy. So she's having conversations and helping everybody. So it's taking twice as long to get the check and all this stuff. All of a sudden, fire engine shows up right in front of the restaurant, and their red lights are flashing inside the restaurant. I was like, oh, this is crazy. Ambulance shows up. The fucking EMTs show up, and they got the stretcher. I'm like, holy shit, what is going on? So I don't know if this guy stole something or if he was on drugs, but man, I was like, hey, you wanted to come down to the middle of the city, right? It's never a dull moment down here on Elm Street, ever. It's never a dull moment. There's always something going on that street. So by the time the guy came back in that was helping her, we finally got our check and we got to leave, and they were basically driving away in the ambulance and the fire truck when we walked into Ben & Jerry's, and by the time we walked out, you know, they were cleaning stuff up. But I was like, what the hell's going on? This is why you go out, all right? Shit's going to go down. There's always something to see. And you know what? It is nice to kind of be in the middle of it. You know, even though I wasn't really in the middle of it, I was observing it, right? I'm dealing with it. I'm waiting for my check so I can, you know, go out there and maybe see a little bit more, because that's what curiosity is. We're all curious. We all want to see it. And when shit's going down, I mean, there was a girl filming. She filmed the fire truck. I could see her phone, and she was TikToking a short video of like zooming in and out on the fire truck, and she was putting it up on TikTok. That's the way the world is today. So it was just really fun to get out. We went home, and then we watched Dave Chapelle, and it was very good. And I want to get into a little bit about Dave Chapelle. And this is probably the best time to just do it. Just dive in, right? So I understand where everybody's coming from, but I also don't understand where everybody's coming from, because the way his jokes were set up, he was already letting you know that he was on your side. And then this is how he got there. So I didn't really find the jokes to be transphobic. I found his point of not being able to punch down on people that have only been suppressed for so long, where he has been suppressed his whole life. And I thought he made a very valid point. And I also think that everybody's a little too soft these days. I really do. I'm sorry. This is the way the world has always worked, and now because you don't like it, we're supposed to change it for you? Well, I say, no one changed it for me. So why am I going to try and change it for you? We had to deal with all of the shit. And you know what? There was complaining, of course, but we had a problem. We just solved it. Whether it was, whatever, violence, fighting, yelling and screaming. But now all of a sudden, like, people in Netflix are upset that the special made it. And I know I'm making the same point that everybody else made, which is why I'm trying not to. But fuck you. Like, what is your problem? Do you not think that they looked at that before they put it up on Netflix? And I think it was Brendan Schaub and maybe Joe Rogan and a whole bunch of them. They even said Netflix probably saw that live before they made the decision to put it on Netflix. But for the employees to be like, oh, this is just wrong, well, then quit your job. Or shut up. No one cares. As for people like the Twitter and the Facebook and all this other shit, no. Why is it 2% of the population gets to make these decisions about people's lives? I disagree. And I blame this on helicopter, snow parents, whatever you want to fucking call yourself. This is from babying your children. This is from giving them trophies for waking them up. This is because you told them they were never wrong. This is because you didn't take anything away from them when they were wrong. That I don't have kids, and I know that I can't speak about raising kids. I understand that. But I can be, I look at things. I'm observing. I observe people. It's what I do. I like to watch all my neighbors. I like to watch people. I friggin' get to know my customers. I observe their habits. I do this. This is what I do. I'm a human. I'm curious as to what makes all of us tick. Because what makes you tick is not what makes me tick, right? We're all different. But is it not evident that the generation that is coming up now and the generation that is now having kids, right, in their 20s, were brought up in this world where everything had a soft landing? If they had a hard task, well, you got it out of their way. And they didn't have to deal with that hard task because you didn't want them to suffer. You didn't want them to, realize that they can't do something. And now all of them expect everybody to treat them the same way. Well, that's never going to happen in reality. That might happen on your college campus. That might happen in your home. That might happen with your friends because you're all brought up the same relative way. But in reality, in the real fucking world, none of that means dick. None of it. So for the employees at Netflix that are upset about Dave Chappelle's special, I say, quit. Leave. They'll just replace you with somebody who doesn't care. And I think he was kind of right. He should be able to punch down, punch up, punch left, punch. It doesn't fucking matter. He's a comic. We can't censor comics. That can't happen because do you not understand if comics get censored, that means all of our right to free speech is compromised? If there's anybody on this planet that should have 100% range of whatever the fuck they want to say, it should be comics. So I thought the special was really good. I didn't think it was his best one ever. I thought he made some very valid points. That story of that girl that he was friends with was, I mean, just tragic. But as you could see, he has no problem with that community. And the only reason I'm not saying it is because there's too many letters and vowels and everything else that's been added to it. I can't even just say what it used to be because then I'm wrong. But I do think that he made some pretty valid points. And I did like the special. So that's my thoughts on Dave Chapelle. That's how the Thursday night ended. And then it was back to a regular weekend. I had to work my Friday and Saturday. They were both amazing. Friday, was it Friday? No, Saturday night. Because nothing really happened on Friday. I went in, I did my shit, and it was a nice day. The weather was beautiful, and I just really enjoyed kind of being at work again. And that's why I like vacation so much, because, you know, you get away and then you come back and you enjoy it a little bit more, because things get stagnant, things get repetitive, and stress of mail and all this other crap, well, it gets to you. And so does the stress of the customers and all this other bullshit and the repetitive questions over and over again. And still to this day, why people don't comprehend why you can't smell, taste anything, and why you can't vape in the store. It's fucking COVID, people. What is wrong with you? COVID changed everything. Why would you be able to vape in any store today? You shouldn't be able to vape anywhere. Vape stores, convenience stores, Walmart, grocery stores, doesn't fucking matter. You're indoors. There's no smoking indoors. You know what I mean? So I got frustrated with all those things. So that wasn't happening. I was happy to be back. And then Saturday, day goes pretty well. I'm coming back, getting close to the closing time. You know, busy fucking day. We hit a good, it was a really good day. It was super exciting. And right at the end, I get a customer, and I've talked to this customer multiple times, and I'm not going to get to what we talked about, but what we talked about made me realize how little I struggle, really, is what it showed me. You know, he was dealing with so much, and then he was like, "What's going on with you?" And I was like, I have to walk my dog every day. I'm waiting for my lawn to grow. I'm like, after hearing your story, man, I don't really have much to say. I mean, you just made me realize everything that I'm upset about is really not that important. And it also made me realize, again, it could be so much worse. And I was like, shit, dude. I got nothing to compare, and I don't want to compare. You know? I don't want to compare. I don't want to have that story. I don't want to do those things. But we ended up talking about stuff, and you know, I finally told him what was going on and all this other shit, and it was a good conversation. And we, you know, he was happy to hear that things were going well, and he was happy to vent, and I think that was the most important thing. Sometimes you just gotta let people vent. You gotta let them. You know, I've come to the realization that me behind that counter is equivalent to a bartender. Everybody just wants to vent. And I never noticed this when I was at Walmart, even when I was behind the register selling ammo or cutting up fabric. people didn't really want to vent. They more just wanted to complain about Walmart and how little employees there were and how they've disrupted their day with their new rules and regulations. So I never really got that until I got behind the counter at the vape shop. I mean, I got it a little bit when I worked for the company in Nashua, but I was young and I didn't really give a shit what people had to say, where now I'm older and I kind of care. Not always, but I'll put in the effort to listen. And sometimes that's all somebody needs. So he was in a better spot when he left. I wasn't really in a better spot. I was like, holy shit. I mean, it could be so much worse. It could just be so much worse. And then, of course, I finally got out of there about 10 minutes later than normal. But, if he left a happier person and could maybe focus on what was troubling him when he left, then maybe that was my good deed for the day. I don't know. I hope so. I hope he figures it out, and I hope things go really well for him. He's a great guy. He's just shit, man. We all get dealt a fucking shit deck sometimes, and you just got to figure out how to organize the cards. You got to shuffle them, and make them work for you. So that was then Sunday, beautiful day. I mean, we're not getting too many of these, and I don't want to talk about the 4-letter word, but it's coming. We all got to get prepared for it. I mean, it's just now starting to feel like October, which is nice. I mean, I want the warmth to stay around, but we all know it doesn't stay around. And by the end of October, we can see that 4-lettered word. We can see it. It's coming. So, next Sunday, I got to bring everything inside. So, Sunday, we go, and I got to get all my normal shit done. It rained, so I decided not to mow. And I know this is probably boring for a lot of people, and I understand that, but talking about or going over what I did helps me find what I needed to talk about. So sometimes I may go into details about certain things, but it's just because I'm trying to grab the thoughts that were there, because things happen, and I don't always feel the feelings or remember what I was feeling until I go through everything. So I don't know. I just feel like sometimes that needs to be explained. I get it. Oh, poor you, walking your dogs. You're still watering your lawn. No. Yeah, I get it. I know. But I get home, we eat lunch, and then she wants to go to her mom's. So we go to her mom's. And it was just really nice to go up there. It was really nice to see all the kids. I forget how old they are now. The oldest is now 14. And he's still struggling with the vaping, but he's doing better, but he's still getting detentions. I mean, he's 14. I get it. I just wish he'd do better, because that's all the shit I did. Don't do that shit. That's stupid. Don't do that stuff, He's like, oh, detention wasn't bad. It's like, yeah, but you shouldn't have detention. You've only been in school for 2 months. And it's like, yeah, but this time last year I was suspended twice in 2 months. And I'm like, his dad's like, that's not a fucking accomplishment. And I agree with him. It's not. It's not the way you're supposed to think of it, but it's the way a teenager thinks of it. But I love the way that they, take care of the kids. There is no obstacle to avoid with them. And I think that's good. These kids are going to have a damn good head on their shoulders. When a problem occurs, they're going to know how to deal with the problem. They're not going to run to somebody to help them fix their issue, which is exactly the way it's supposed to be. If I had to stop what I was doing to ask my parents how to help me out of an issue, Jesus fucking Christ, man, that would be crazy. Once you're 18, fuck you. You're your own problem. That's what I think. And that's the way I was taught. That was the way I was treated. Hell, my parents didn't want to deal with my fucking bullshit by the time I was 17. Never mind when I turned 18 and they could fucking turn their back to me. They were happy to. They're like, you figure this shit out. You are no longer our issue. So I agree with that way of dealing with things. You know, nobody gets a trophy for waking up in the fucking morning. Nobody. Oh, God, it frustrates me. It's so angry. Congratulations. Oh, yeah, you did such a good job. You woke up. Shut up. Get up, take a shower, do your shit, go to work, go to school, figure it out. You know, life is hard. I used to always be told, get a fucking helmet. Because life is hard. And it's going to throw shit at you that you ain't fucking ready for. That's it. I don't know. Sorry. I know. Backtracking here. But yeah, it was, I tried to set up her antennas for her TV. That failed. But I don't know if it's her location. I should have brought one of the antennas home. That's what I should have done. And I should have hooked it up to my TV down here while I had time this evening. And I should have tested it to make sure they were working properly and maybe see if I need to upgrade mine. I don't know. But I was really bummed out that I couldn't fix it for her. I couldn't get it working. And I'm usually pretty good with the electronics, but no, couldn't get this to work. So we ended up leaving there, coming home, doing dinner, and then we were binging You. Oh my God. So good. Season 3, so good. That's all I'm saying. I fucking love this show. It is just so good, and the turns that it takes every season, they get me. I can usually read a show. I can get a feel for where it's going. I get an idea of when a character is going to not be there anymore. Or, man, this one, turn. Very good. Very, very good is You. And I also got into Poorly Drawn Lines on Hulu. I love it. I think it's a great cartoon. It's only 10, 11 minutes each episode. I think they only come out once a week. I think it's really funny. My wife hates it. She's like, you can watch that by yourself. I'm like, cool, I will. But I really like it. I think those are a couple things I've been getting into and watching, and, you know, I'm just really enjoying it. It's nice to see all the shows coming back. You know, what was it? All the returning shows. You know, SVU. Then they came up with the new one with the frigging the crime and all that stuff. They came out with the crime unit. I like it. She hates it. But yeah, just all these shows coming back. Plenty to watch. Plenty to do, and now plenty more to talk about. It's great. And, you know, if you want to check out some new stuff, go to Hulu. They got all kinds of new shit. And I don't know if you've been keeping up with it, but oh my God, fucking WuTang Clan, absolutely amazing. I mean, season 2 is just so fucking good. There's nothing else I can say about it. You gotta watch it. If you are like me and you like to find out how things got started, that's what this whole thing's about. It's about how WuTang got started, how they came together, how they made their tracks, and how they made their way onto the billboards. And it is so fucking good. But I will say one thing, that the oldest brother that turns out to, he's not the manager, but he's like the lawyer guy. He figures out a lot about lawyer because he went to jail at some point. So he was in, not the SVU, but he was in the criminal unit as a lawyer. It was just really weird. I just finished watching like episode 8 of WuTang, and then we went into the crime unit, and he was the lawyer on that. So it's always interesting, and he did really well. I mean, the guy's a great actor. So if you want to check him out, you know? I hope you feel the same way that I do about them. I think they're great shows, and they're, you know, it's nice to be entertained, considering most of the movies that come out today are, God, they're just garbage. They really are. I remakes of everything, and now Superman is bi, but it's not Superman, it's Superman's son. But when did Superman have a son? So I'm confused. Maybe I missed something. I don't know. I can't keep up with it all. And I get where we're going with this, but at what sacrifice? You know what I mean? Like, how far are you going to go to include? I just think it ruins shit. Now, when I was told about this, I was told that it was Superman. So I was really upset because I'm like, that is so confusing. But turns out to be his son. Maybe they explain who got pregnant, where he came from. I don't really care, but do what you will. I just don't think it's, I don't know. I'm an old-minded person in a sense, and I don't think you need, I feel like you should just come up with new shit. New shit. Why is it always this continuation or regurgitating of the old shit, trying to make it new, trying to make it more real? It's just so monotonous, and you're like, all right, guys, obviously you can't think of anything new. But, and then, so that was Sunday, all the stuff I like. And then Monday was obviously today, and I went into jiu-jitsu class today. I wanted to put on a knee brace, thought I grabbed one. Later found out when I got home, my wife's like, that's for the ankle? And I was like, oh. So that's probably why it didn't fit. She goes, yeah, your heel goes here, and that wraps around your foot because I have ankle issues. So we have nothing but ankle wraps here. And I was like, oh, shit. So no knee brace, go into class, and, you know, I did what I could. I had to tap a few times, and this is what I'm trying to instill in myself today. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to tell myself that when I tap, I'm not losing, I'm learning. And I'm also keeping myself from getting more injured, because I don't want to get more injured. I can't afford to get injured and be out of work. So I had to let go of my ego a little bit more than I normally do. And I had to tap a few times on some white belts because of their weight on my knee or because of what was going on, and I couldn't get out of it because of my knee. And I did those things, and then, you know, I went with Eric, and then I went with my friend Rob, and it was awesome. It was a great class. My knee was definitely on fire when I left. It's a little sore, a little bit more sore than it was this morning. So, but I can walk. I can walk. I can walk downstairs. I've walked the dogs. I mean, I'm not feeling complications with the knee. It just hurts. And when someone puts weight on it, it is just tap city for me. So I'm not losing. I'm learning. That's what you're doing when you tap. If you're the one doing the tap, well, you're still winning. Winning is always winning, but not losing, learning. That's my new train of thought. And I want to be able to train another day. So now that I know how it's going to feel in class, should be no issue for Wednesday. I'm going to go Gonna get a knee brace, gonna tie it up, and hopefully it'll feel a lot better this Wednesday. So, but it was a great class, great conversation with Tyler. The wife helped out because she saw that I was hurting when I got home, so she took the dogs for a walk, wound up being a little bit late for work, so I appreciate her for that. And then here I am, Monday afternoon, putting another one up for all of you out there. And that's it. That's the weekly roundup. New Hampshire Vape Gallery is located at 180 Lafayette Road, Seabrook, New Hampshire, down the street from Home Depot and next to Smoke Rings, where we are open 7 days a week from 10:30 to 8 p.m., and you can shop inside of our store. That's right. Super exciting to be able to come into stores. Now, I have been telling you about party caps. These are awesome. I tried one. Yeah, really good. I like the energy boost that I got, and I just wanted to read you off what's inside of it. Vitamin B6, vitamin B12, potassium chloride, calcium BHB, sodium BHB, and then, of course, you got ginger root, caffeine, milk thistle extract, and canna extract. All right, all these new things, these legal plants, and this stuff right here definitely made my Saturday night more euphoric, and I enjoyed it very much. Didn't upset my stomach. I didn't get shaky. They're amazing, and you can get these at New Hampshire Vape Gallery. Of course, we have our NIN. We have all of our devices. And speaking of devices, this one, brand new. This is the new G-Priv Pro and G-Priv Kit. These are awesome. I mean, they are awesome. I don't have one yet because that's how fast they sell out. I can't even get my hands on one because they're selling too fast for me to take one for myself. And that's just the way it is. But you can only get all of these things at New Hampshire Vape Gallery, located at 180 Lafayette Road, Seabrook, New Hampshire, down the street from Home Depot and next to Smoke Rings, where we're open 7 days a week from 10:30 to 8 p.m., and you are always welcome to shop inside of our store. And I look forward to seeing you there. Slowdownclothing.bigcartel.com. That's slowdownclothing.bigcartel.com. You're not sure how to spell that? It's right here at the bottom of the screen, and it's also in the description underneath this video. They have it all. They've got new stuff. They're always coming out with new stuff. They're always redoing their website. It is so awesome. I love it. I don't know who their web designer is, but their website is always up to date and awesome. They've got so many new shirts. They got so many new kids shirts. They added a new design to their leggings. They got the beach towels. They got the board shorts. They got embroidered hats. They've got all the sweatshirts. Oh, and they're sold out of their sweatpants, so you'll have to wait for those. But that's because it's cold outside, so everybody's stocking up. Don't you want to be warm this winter? Well, they still got some hoodies left, so get yourself some. Maybe you just want the crew neck sweatshirt. They got those in stock right now. They're going to help keep you warm. Even the leggings underneath a pair of pants could help keep you warmer this winter. Even this fall. I mean, it's already 55 degrees out. It's going to get chilly. It's starting to actually feel like October around here. And a lot of these shirts are just awesome in design. They hold up wash after wash. I've said it 1,000 times. I absolutely love their gloves. They're amazing. And then, of course, I just love the high quality of all of their products. But you can only get it here at slowdownclothing.bigcartel.com. That's slowdownclothing.bigcartel.com. It's right here at the bottom of the screen in case you don't know how to spell it, or in the description underneath this video. naturalbossnh.com. That's right. naturalbossnh.com. I love this website. I love it. It's the best hand sanitizer I've ever used. It's the only one I've been using ever since COVID hit the streets. Their salve is amazing. It's great for dry skin. The beard oil, I've heard it's great. I don't have a beard, can't grow one, so I'll never get to use that product. But I hear it's amazing and it smells really good. I love the lip balm, keeps my lips moist, and it's getting cold out, so it's almost time to get some new stuff and get ready to, protect my lips from the winter air. And then, of course, the foot and body soak, one of my wife's favorites. She loves soaking her feet in it, and maybe one day when we redo our bathroom, we'll be able to soak in a tub. It would be nice to do those things, but right now I can't, so we're using it as a foot soak, but you can use it as a body soak and melt away those stressful days, all right? And you can only get this stuff here at naturalbossnh.com. That's naturalbossnh.com. Buy one or all 5 of these products today. We're going to get into some current events. So I don't know if you remember or not, but when the PMTAs that I've talked about, which is where the companies have to file their juice, and then they needed to be approved by the FDA. They were supposed to get approved. They were supposed to put them in by X date, and then all of a sudden, the FDA was putting MDOs, which is Marketing Detail Order. And the MDOs that they were putting in place was basically stalling all the companies from being able to sell their juice because the FDA wasn't saying no. They were just saying, we're still thinking about it. But now you can't sell anything. So every company out there now is doing synthetic nicotine. There isn't one company that is not doing synthetic nicotine. And that is tobacco-free nicotine, TFN. I don't carry much of it. I think I got 1 or 2 companies that actually do use TFN no matter what. There's no way around it. They've been using it since the beginning. But most of my companies use tobacco-derived nicotine, condensed, then broken down, and then distributed. So it's real nicotine, which is one of the reasons why it oxidizes so quickly and why you would find your juices to be browning after they open. Well, I am here to say today that the FDA has rescinded its marketing detail order against Turning Point Brands Incorporated. That's right. Yes, the MDOs are basically, they're saying, no, it's not putting you on a hold anymore. So this is probably one of the better things for the FDA to do at this point, is allow these companies to do what they need to do to move their stock and stop burying an industry that is supplying so many jobs around the entire United States, the world. And when the MDOs came out, it put a lot of people out of business. It put a lot of workers out. The companies were surviving and staying open, but they didn't have employees. So, I mean, what are we doing? Why? Why would you put more people out of work? Why would you put more people on unemployment? This isn't about the kids, all right? This is about crushing an industry for what? Please tell me. I wish I could get a friggin' answer on this because I don't understand what is going on. I don't understand why, if we need jobs, we need people working, We need people off of unemployment. Why you're still trying to destroy something that employs so many? But you can't tell me it's for the kids anymore, because I'm not listening to you. It's a fucking lie. All of it's a lie. This is bullshit. Should have never happened in the first place. But now they're lifting it. Companies are capable of distributing again. I just got a call from a company I haven't been able to speak to in over a year and a half, who just called me back and was like, hey, we can pay your individual state taxes. We can do all of these things. And if you want, you can go TFN because of the MDOs. And I said, MDOs don't matter. They rescinded them. And she was like, really? And I go, yeah, they don't matter anymore. They rescinded it because it's stupid. It's absolutely stupid. Just approve all the shit and be done with it. I don't understand what the problem is at this point. Why can't you make a decision? Because somebody's lining your pocket to make it so that you don't make a decision? Because that's what it seems like. Big Tobacco just paying the FDA. Hey. Make sure they can't sell anything right now. We know that they just paid you millions and millions and millions of dollars for these PMTAs, but we're going to pay you millions and millions of dollars as well, and we just want you to hang them out to dry for a little bit longer. So I'm glad that they rescinded on this. I'm glad. Okay, well, I just realized my other mic was on, so if you have an echo, I'm sorry. I hope I don't. I know. Here we go again. Hiccups galore. But yeah, so MDOs are no longer an issue. It's the FDA was to review its decision of denying the company a marketing order for 490 of its vape products. So this is craziness. I mean, it's just insane that they would do this. You know? The appeal by Turning Point Brands Incorporated, the decision, a rescinded market denial order by FDA, what this means for the PMTAs, and the conclusion. So what does this mean for the PMTAs? Let's get into that real quick. The news gives a sliver of hope to the vaping industry, which this year has faced tremendous obstacles. I feel like I should be doing it like this. If I'm reading it to you, I should make it big enough for you to read, right? Vape manufacturers, there are many vape manufacturers that have filed appeals, and the recent reversal could create a precedent for how the FDA plans on dealing with the vape manufacturers that plan to seek legal action against the FDA. Although there aren't any other guarantees that a month from now the FDA won't give the same verdict, the PTA application of the Turning Point Brands Incorporated, this is a very important move by the FDA, could open the floodgates for other companies to seek the same route in order to be put back in review process. However, the decision is still in the hands of the FDA, and while the reversal is important, there is also a possibility that this could be a one-off case. So that sucks. The Vapor Industry Insider stated on Alex Norca's, the reporter who broke the news blog, the no smoking section, that this is a scenario we thought about adding that. This is a scenario we thought about adding that. Presumably, they'll offer the same sort of deal to everybody. All right, let's read the conclusion. The decision to rescind the marketing denial order against Turning Point Brands Incorporated is an important development for the continuity of flavored vaping products. As of now, at least 2 companies are taking the same legal route with Wages and White Lion Investments. Oh, White Lion. Triniton Distribution. Hey, we use them. Creating an appeal with the same court and issuing an appeal to stay similar to the one created by the Turning Point Brands Incorporated. So this is important, right? I just think that they need to just approve all of this shit. I don't understand what the problem is in the first place. It's not like they changed anything in the juice. It's all still the same shit. I think if you're an adult and you're vaping, you still know that it's not healthy, but it is a healthier alternative to smoking, right? So this is important. I got a couple calls from the companies, and they were super pumped that they don't have to worry about the MDOs at the moment. And like I said, the workaround is going TFN. But we'll see what happens, because this is only one little battle in this war that we keep fighting. So we'll just see what the next one is, because right now I got everybody asking me if I want to flip to TFN, but it's like I don't have to flip. They're not coming after the retailers right now. They will start at the manufacturers, and then they're going to move to the distributors, and then maybe come after the retail shops. You know? So we're last on the list, but still going to create massive shortage. So, and it's like, I don't really know what else to say about this except for the fact that I think it's absolutely crazy. I think it's insane. I think this is stupid. If adults want to ingest something, you should be capable of making that decision. But for some reason, somebody at the beginning of this said it was healthy, said it was water vapor, said it would not hurt you, and there was no age limit on it, and now that has ruined everything, because that's all people still talk about today. So what does that tell you? First impression is the most important. I mean, I still have people telling me about popcorn lung. They don't use dilipitol in the juice anymore. They used to. Back when I first started vaping and I first started working at the store, banana was like the worst one you could get. It would literally crack tanks. That doesn't do that anymore. Everybody got away from that. Are there traces of it? Yeah. But that's in the actual vapor production. And then it's also in cigarettes. So a lot of the stuff going on today, I believe, is not for the kids' sake, but it's still the excuse that they're using. And I was happy to see this happen and us being able to order from a couple more manufacturers again. I like dealing with the manufacturer over the distributor. It's just an easier way to order things. But none of that is going to matter, because there we go. Let's get into the second one, because now the mail's going to get worse. This is going to affect almost everything I get. So if you thought me running out of shit on my shelves wasn't bad enough when I couldn't order from my distributor, when I couldn't order from my manufacturers anymore, and now I'm fighting with other vape shops to order from the same fucking distributor, right? Same distributor. So we go in there, we make an order, and I go to check out, and all of a sudden, boom, you can't check out because now somebody checked out before you and they bought this amount of that, and now that doesn't exist for you. So it becomes, you have to get in there and order and hope you get your order in before the other person does. It's very frustrating. It's so stupid. Like, do better with your counts or something. Make it easier. Like, if I add this to my cart, well, I should be able to buy it. I added it. But when you allow somebody else to also add to their cart, what are you doing? Your website sucks. And that's a stupid way to do business. It's like, well, I got 3,000 of them, so da-da-da. I don't give a shit. That's crazy. So you're telling me if somebody checks out before me and you only have 10 of those left, and I clicked all 10, and somebody else has the opportunity to click all 10, it's whoever checks out first? Man, fix your shit. Like, the number count doesn't go down until the purchase has gone through. So it's so stupid. I think it's ridiculous. But now, it's going, the mail is on this kick right now where shit's going to be showing up late. They are saying, as of right now, if you want your Christmas presents to make it to whoever, you have to have it shipped out by the 15th of December. I mean, I have no idea what to anticipate here. I just don't. So, what happens when I'm just ordering juice through the mail? Is it going to be like it was a month or so ago, where it takes 17 days for me to get one order? I mean, this is all very frustrating, but it seems like I can just give you the cliff notes of this. We'll just go through the first two paragraphs. But if you already feel like your mail is taking longer to deliver, you may be in for a bumpy ride with new delivery changes. The new service standards, the first for first-class mail and packages, which started October 1st, lengthening the delivery time for about 30% of its volume. That means the letters, parcels, and magazine subscriptions traveling longer distances could take up to 5 days to arrive instead of the 2 or 3. There was a price increase on August. Yes, there was. Went from $7.40 to $8.15 on a... Actually, it went from a 2-day to a 3-day, and the price went up. And that's on a regular, not like envelope. It's an envelope about yay big. A regular, non-padded envelope. You could throw whatever you want in it and send it out. Used to take 2 days. Used to cost $7.40, $7.42 or something, and now it's $8.15. Fucking ridiculous. And it says right on it 3 days. So they already extended it a day on that. So there was a pricing on August, and the Postal Service just temporarily increased the cost to ship a parcel. That's what it is, a parcel envelope. During the holiday season, or a flat rate envelope. My apologies. The current changes are part of the Postmaster General Louis DeJoy's, is it DeJoy's or DeJoy's? I've always known that to be DeJoy's 10-year Delivering for America plan to overhaul the agency and try to tackle its massive debt. Besides lengthening mail timetables and raising rates, DeJoy's plan, which has generated controversy, also reduces post office hours. What? How does that fix the debt? I mean, it just makes me so angry. Yeah, so I mean, you can get more into it. It goes into the about postal services, new cost cutting, how its first class mail and package delivery is changing, what are the new rates for senders, why would USPS deliveries be delayed? And I also noticed that it was a little weird too, because now USPS.com that we use to mail out all our multi-match shit, now they added on UPS. And I was like, well, they did this for a reason, right? Because they're going to want you to give it to them instead. So this is going to be a shit show, not only for our holidays, but for our everyday. And for anybody trying to run a business, whether you're mailing shit out or you're trying to order stuff to stock your store, this is going to be a fucking issue, period. So if you want to check it out, I mean, you can find it anywhere, and dig into it. I don't know how much you're going to be affected, but I know that the vape shop is definitely going to be affected. And it kind of sucks that I have to get my Christmas presents out earlier than I wanted to. But I guess 10 days is reasonable, especially in November. I mean, especially in December where we have storms, snow, all kinds of shit going on. So, but I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But then again, I don't like it when my job gets harder than it has to be. But the government is having no issue doing it all the time to us. So I guess that's just the way it is. So this is crazy to me. Now, I have been vaccinated for this 3 or 4 times because every time you get locked up, you have to have a tuberculosis shot. They put a little fucking thing under your skin. It tests you for tuberculosis. And I get it, when it goes down, it goes away. You don't have it, we're good. Now, I've been vaccinated for tuberculosis. I've been vaccinated for measles. All the shit that you were supposed to get vaccinated for before you even go into school is everything I've gotten. I've gotten all my updated tetanus shots, all of this shit. But now there's a tuberculosis case confirmed in Concord School, in the Concord School District. Concord, New Hampshire. Tuberculosis. There is a vaccination you're supposed to get before you even go into public school for this. How is this okay, let me backtrack before I get really upset. I am so tired of hearing that I am not going to give my kid a vaccination with something that we don't know what it is. We have been treating tuberculosis for a long, long time. People used to die of it pretty fucking regularly. People don't die of it anymore because of the vaccination. I understand, but that you don't want to get your kids vaccinated with anything. But then guess what? I think it's your responsibility now to keep those kids home and teach them school. I don't think it's right that you found a loophole, and that's what I believe. I want to make that very clear. Now, we're going to listen to what he has to say, but I find this to be, in my mind, to be true. So this is my opinion. That somehow they managed to not vaccinate their kids, but found somebody to fudge the card or fudge whatever information you're supposed to pass in. How else do you get tuberculosis? Now, I'm hoping that they're going to say something. I'm hoping they're going to tell me. I will tell you most of the time, I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about because I haven't read or listened to this yet. And that's my own fault for not doing my homework, but I find like this makes it a little bit more fun because then I just go off and then I find out I'm completely wrong. And I'm okay with that. I don't mind being wrong. I've been wrong my entire life. So I'm good with that. But tuberculosis? What the? It just angers me. Why is it that shit we know works, you fucking... People choose not to vaccinate their children at all. But here's the problem I have. Most of the people not vaccinating their children with measles and tuberculosis and all these other fucking... They're like, well, dude, we don't have to worry about it, right? It's not around. Yeah, it's not around because we all got vaccinated, including you. Some of the parents that are not vaccinating their children for these diseases that we have almost eradicated because of vaccines have been vaccinated themselves. What the fuck is that? It was okay for you, but not for them? What is wrong with everybody? The reason that these things have been eradicated or nearly eradicated is because of the vaccines. So where I agree with you, we have no idea what the new vaccines are going to do to us in the long run. And now we've learned that they're not as effective as they were promised. I get you. I'm on board. But all the vaccines that have been made that have almost, if not completely eradicated certain diseases, you're choosing not to give them those, bringing back the fucking diseases. This makes no sense to me. You don't need to know what's in those fucking vaccines. Just do what the fucking school board told you to do. Now, I might be completely off, but I know I'm not 100% wrong on this. I might be completely off on what this article is truly about, but I know what I said is true to an extent. And I can't believe this happens. That makes no sense to me. If they weren't doing their job and long-term effects, there's not much of them, and the only thing that you're worried about is giving your kids Down syndrome, I don't think that's a good enough excuse. Almost all the people I know that came from my age bracket, all of our parents took the chance. There was very little people not vaccinating their kids. And then we as the adults are choosing not to vaccinate our kids with shit we were vaccinated with? Is anybody else with me on this? Does this not make any fucking sense whatsoever? But here, let's get into it. Let's see what they're really talking about, okay? And I don't apologize for my rant. I think this is fucking crazy. I've always been against anti-vaxxing your children from diseases that we can keep away from them. The studies, there's all kinds of shit. Say whatever you want, but I don't believe that the vaccinations that have eradicated certain things give us Down syndrome. I think that happens in the womb, shit's going on, and at any point in time, it can be triggered. It's not specifically just this. People will disagree. People say there's facts on it, that it's possible. I don't give a fuck about your possibilities. I want facts. And so far, there's no facts that any vaccination gives any child Down syndrome. So to not get your kids vaccinated because of that reason is crazy to me. And I want to say one more time, I am not talking about today's newest vaccines. I am talking about shit we have been fighting for years, decades, millennia. What the fuck is a millennia? Is that 1,000 years? A couple hundred years. Whatever it is. This shit, we have hundreds of 50, 60 years worth of documentation. Very minimal amount of side effects. Very minimal amount of things going wrong. But with a lot of data showing us that they work. And I mean, I don't think it's eradicated anymore, but the vaccines actually did eradicate a few, maybe one disease, and then it came back from all you motherfuckers not getting your kids vaccinated. I think if anybody is on the spectrum, it's inside of us. And I might be wrong, but I don't feel like I am because this shit angers me. A high school should not have tuberculosis. It just shouldn't. This shouldn't be happening. That's how I feel about it. I might be absolutely 100% wrong, but hey. Let's see what
health experts are telling us that tuberculosis mainly affects the lungs. Now, according to the Mayo Clinic, the symptoms include coughing for 3 weeks or more, pain when breathing, loss of appetite, fatigue, fever, night sweats, and chills. The World Health Organization says the disease spreads through the air and you only need to inhale a few of the germs to become infected.
Which is why when I went to jail, they would give you this shot, and they would not allow you to leave the cell for what? I think I was stuck in there for at least a 72-hour lockdown. Because they didn't want me out in the public. Because if I had tuberculosis, I would give it to the entire fucking block. And it could possibly spread even further than that.
Now, Concord school officials have already started the process of contact tracing.
Once we've identified those close contacts, that information will be shared with public health, and they will be making the contacts out to those that we have been able to identify.
Now, students, parents, and faculty all encouraged to attend a virtual meeting at 6 this evening to discuss any concerns surrounding this tuberculosis case. The superintendent telling us that email invites will be sent out this morning. Reporting live in Concord, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
God damn it. You see? They don't tell you. They're going to tell us later. Which is fine. It's fine. But is this because somebody's child was not vaccinated for tuberculosis? Is this like getting a tetanus shot? I don't remember. I'll be honest with you. I might have just gone off on a tangent for no friggin' reason, but it felt good. I still believe what I said. So, I don't know. I thought tuberculosis was pretty much done. And I've never heard of it being in a school. I've only heard of it being in prisons because, you know, most adults get it and they smoke and all this other shit. If you were a smoker, you had a higher chance of catching tuberculosis. That was always the thing. So I don't know why a kid has it in the school district. I just don't. And I just think that it's lack of vaccinating children. That's what I think. I just do. So, I don't know. This was really crazy to me. I couldn't understand what was going on. I'm like, why are we still having these cases? And, yeah, so let's get into the next one. This is my last one. All right, so, oh my God, this is crazy. So in Norway, they have a suspect, which I'm so surprised about because a lot of these people that go on these rampages, shooting, whatever, murder, they usually kill themselves. So to actually catch a person that does the act is actually relieving. Like the last, I think there was just recently the person that gunned down like 17 people. I don't remember if it was a mall or a school or what, but you know, they just found him guilty. He's going to do like 3 life sentences. It's not great. It's not great. I agree. But at least there was some closure where when they kill a whole bunch of people and then kill themselves, it just doesn't, it doesn't feel like it's ever, you know, going to be closed. It doesn't feel great. None of this feels great. You don't want to hear about it, but it just keeps getting a little bit worse. And ever since the whole world was in lockdown and now is trying to open back up again, it seems like this is just ramped up 100 times worse than it ever was. I mean, teachers getting punched. School districts are having meetings on how to deal with children because teachers are having shit thrown at them, and kids are getting into more fights. It's fucking insane. I watched a guy yesterday while I was out shopping on a motorcycle, was tailgating a big truck. So the truck slammed on his brakes. The bike almost ran into the truck. And then the guy on the bike is yelling at the guy in the truck saying that he's in the wrong. No, asshole, you are. You're on the motorcycle. You're behind him. It doesn't matter if he's going 2 miles an hour or the speed limit. He was in a parking lot. Why are you fucking tailgating him? You know what I mean? Like, I just think everybody is on 9. Everybody's on 9 right now. And it's really hard to bring those numbers down, but it's really easy to fucking go over the up to 10. It's really easy to go to 10 and explode. So I think everybody's there. Now, this happened in Norway. Suspect in Norway attack named as police say they're treating it as terrorism. This is insane to me.
Police in Norway now say the bow and arrow rampage appears to be an act of terror. Video from the scene shows an arrow still stuck in a wall. 5 people were killed in Wednesday's attack. A 37-year-old Danish man was arrested in Kongsberg outside Oslo. Police say this was not their first encounter with him.
It was previously stated that the perpetrator is a 37-year-old Danish citizen living in Norway. The police have previously been in contact with the man, including as a result of previous concerns related to radicalization.
Salma Abdelaziz joining us now live with more on the attack. And what do we know at this point about the suspect?
This is insane. I mean, you've heard of guns, knives, cars, all kinds of shit being used to terrorize, mass shootings. A bow and arrow? This guy was so confident. He was just like, I'm just going to use bow and arrow. I mean, what?
Becky, an absolutely horrific attack that is sending shockwaves across Norway. This is the deadliest terror attack this country has seen in nearly 10 years, and it all unfolded in a very public place outside a supermarket at around 6:15 p.m. local time, evening time. Yesterday, this perpetrator started firing a bow and arrow. You can imagine how that sent people absolutely terrified. Police say he was able to move across a large.
Not only can he do what she is saying, but those things are silent. You don't hear a bow. You don't hear the arrow. Like, I mean, you might hear a wisping in the air, but if you have ever shot a bow and arrow, and you would know what I'm talking about. Those arrows, they make like a shoo sound. So it's very, very low in tone, and they're very fast. And if you're good, they're very accurate. So, I mean, you don't hear that until you get hit. At least with a gun, you hear the fire of the gun before the bullet hits. I mean, you got a slight chance to get out of the way, depending, but at least you can hear it. So, how many people did he hit before everybody started realizing that they were being shot at? Because, I mean, you hear a gunshot go off, just like in my story with when I fired my gun off in public, people's heads spun. People took action immediately because they heard gunfire. You can't take action immediately. You don't hear the arrow hitting. Right? Fuck.
Area. Unfortunately, 5 people lost their lives due to this attack, 4 women and 1 man, 2 other injuries. All the victims, all the deceased were between the ages of 50 to 70 years old. And now police are saying, of course, that they're treating this attack as a terrorist incident. They hope that an investigation will reveal not only the motivations of the shooter, but the plan and any other connections, although they do say that he acted alone. Now, as you pointed out, it's important to note here that this shooter was in contact with police in previous years for their concerns around radicalization, although the police say he had not been flagged this year, 2021. But I just want to point to this small community, Kongsberg, absolutely reeling. This is what residents were saying after the terror attack.
I'm shocked. I can't believe it's happened in a small town like this. It's a small town, 20,000. It's not so many, so I hope I don't recognize one of them who's killed. There's 4 women, so maybe I know them.
I was actually going to have a cigarette out on my porch, which is basically right across the street from here. And I saw a friend of mine covering behind a car, and then I suddenly hear a distinct thunk sound.
Yeah,
and
see?
being, well, I've been active within archery. I recognize the sound from a compound bow. And I can hear the tingling of the arrow hitting the streets. And after that, I could see a man running towards her, dragging a kid out of the car, and then they entered my house, or my home actually. And that's basically all I heard.
Now, police have been given a very rare and temporary order to carry firearms across Norway, Becky. That's hoping that the authorities can restore a sense of security there.
What? What? Wait a minute. They have been given... So the police in Norway never carry guns? Is this true? All right. This is something new. I did not know this. I'm going to have to look more into that. What? They just got approval to carry firearms? Why are they not carrying firearms? Is it because there's only 20,000 people? But that's not all of Norway, right? That's that town. And yeah, I mean, you know, now there's 19,994 people, but that's crazy to me. Their law enforcement doesn't carry weapons? They have to. Well, I guess it's guns, right? Now they can carry guns. Maybe they have billy clubs. Maybe they had tasers, non-lethal weaponry. But that just blew my mind. I didn't know that. So it doesn't matter where you live today. I don't think it matters where you live today. Now, back when my parents were, we were living in Massachusetts, my parents moved us from Massachusetts to Derry, New Hampshire, because that's supposed to be safer than where we were. And today, I don't believe that to be true at all, because everybody moves everywhere, right? So anything can happen anywhere today is what I believe. But for this person to go around, and he said they pulled somebody from a car. So this guy kid was in a car shooting the bow and arrow. That's insane. I mean, I don't put it past anybody. I just think people are breaking. People are breaking today, and they're mad at everybody and everything. I mean, I'm mad about a whole bunch of stuff, mostly IRS looking into our bank accounts, being able to possibly tax Cash App and Venmo. That's all bullshit. And I think it's, even though they say in most of the articles on that stuff that it's so that they can tax the rich more and catch the rich with, making more money than they're claiming they are. And if we look at their bank accounts, if you got more than $600, then we can have them pay proper taxes. All these TikTok and YouTube stars, it's a great way to make sure they're paying taxes. And all of that sounds great in the articles that I've read and looked into. But I think the underlining thing that's going to happen is going to be middle class is going to be attacked again. I don't think that they'll do anything about the rich, and I don't think they'll do anything about the poverty-stricken. But for some reason, no matter what they do, they love tearing apart the middle class. And it's very frustrating. Everything that's going on is very frustrating. But we got to stay calm. We got to stay collected. And we got to stick together. We got to take all of this shit out of the government's hands somehow. And I don't think it's going to be possible. They keep putting more shit, more mandates, more this, more that, and more of our freedoms keep disappearing. It seems like day after day now. So, woo, that was crazy though, right? I mean, bow and arrow. Blew my mind. But that is today's podcast. I really hope you all enjoyed it. And as always, I just want to say thank you. I just need to. I need to say thank you for always supporting me, for coming back week after week. And you are the reason that I keep coming back week after week. So I'm not going to ask you to do too much. Just make friends in the comments, make comments, and share, rate, and review the podcast, okay? So, again, I thank you all for coming back and listening week after week. If you are new to the podcast and you are not subscribing, what are you doing? What are you doing? All right, that's the one thing that keeps me coming back here week after week. So hit that subscribe button, okay? Hit it. Set those alarms if you want to know when all the new podcasts upload. And then, of course, share, rate, and review the podcast. All of that stuff helps the algorithm, and it helps the podcast grow, and I need your help to do that. So be doing all of those things for me. I greatly appreciate it. It's free for you, but this is not free to do. If you want to get more involved with the podcast, email talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. That's right, talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. Maybe I was dead wrong. Maybe you just want to tell me something. Maybe you got a story. Well, put slow down in the subject line. If I pick out your story and I read it and I go over it, you're going to get some free slow down merchandise. Yes, super exciting. I'm so glad that I'm so glad I have the opportunity to do this. So put slow down in the subject line. Send your story over to talkinwithtopher@gmail.com and get some free slow down merch. All right. And I am on social media. Yes, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, and Facebook. I post almost every day, every week for sure. Some weeks are definitely better than others, but I'm on there. So go to Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, and Facebook. Follow, and just a great way to get some extra content throughout the week. All right, and with that all being said, I hope everybody has an amazing rest of your Thursday. I'm hoping I got the weather right, or I'm hoping that Google got the weather right. What's that thing called? I'm not a weather person. That's what I'm going to say. I'm not a weather person, a meteorologist. I think that's what it is. And I probably didn't even say that correctly. But I hope I get it. I hope they get it right. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. And as always, I will talk to you later.